Tudo tá caro. Приходится ужиматься, меньше есть.
Global food prices are at the highest level in more than 6 years, driven by increases in crops from soybeans to corn. That's largely caused by strong demand from China, as well as poor weather and supply chain issues. It is a challenge for economists, central bankers, but it also has political implications. 3 of the nations where we are seeing surging food prices are Nigeria, Brazil, and Russia. These are some of the most populous nations in the world, large middle-income economies where food actually makes up a larger share of consumer spending. This is where governments may be under more pressure to act in order to stem the impact of price increases.
In January, food prices in Nigeria rose at the fastest pace in more than 12 years. An average Nigerian household now spends more than 50% of its budget on food. The price hikes follow a perfect storm of food security challenges, from supply bottlenecks to terrorist attacks on farmers. Land border closures led to shortages of staples like rice, and the plunge in oil prices dried up foreign currency reserves needed to import goods. Food-related grievances also played a role in sustaining the End SARS protests in the fall. What first started as demonstrations against police brutality turned into looting of warehouses storing things like noodles, rice, and pasta. Memories of soaring prices and empty shelves in the aftermath of the Soviet Union's collapse are still vivid for many Russians. In recent weeks, the world's #1 wheat exporter imposed tariffs and quotas to curb sales abroad and drive domestic prices lower.
Заметили ли вы подорожание продуктов в магазинах?
Сложно не заметить. Подорожало процентов на 20 все.
И как это отразилось на вашем семейном бюджете?
Приходится ужиматься, меньше есть.
Russia's largest retailers were also ordered to freeze some food prices, with potato and carrot prices up by more than a third from last year. The worry is that such limits could backfire and end up fueling overall inflation when restrictions are lifted at the end of March.
Depois da pandemia, então, os alimentos ficaram um absurdo. Tanto padaria, verdura, fruta, tudo.
Among emerging markets, Brazil saw the fastest increase in food prices in the past year relative to overall inflation. Rice jumped 76% last year, while milk and beef soared by more than 20%.
Óleo de soja que você comprava de 3, 10 reais, 8 reais, o leite é muito caro, né? Tudo é caro. O arroz, eu nunca mais comi arroz branco. É um absurdo. Esses negócios. Isso era que tinha que ser mais barato, o governo tinha que ver isso para nós. Ainda mais para as pessoas que recebem salário mínimo igual eu recebo.
The cost of securing vital nutrition threatens to widen inequality in a country with the biggest income gap in Latin America. A situation that's only been exacerbated by the pandemic.
Nós não temos muito o que fazer, não temos muito o que fazer. Uma vez o dólar subindo, tal, tudo subindo. Qual a tendência? A tendência é que um dia se regularize. É o fim dessa pandemia, o fim de toda essa celeuma aí que foi jogada no mundo, esse pânico todinho que todo mundo está vivendo. Então eu acho que é por aí.
This is the book, Lamentations 4:8. It says, their visage is blacker than a coal. They're not known in the streets, and their skin cleaveth to their bones, and is withered and become like a stick. And they that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. For these pine away, stricken though for want of the fruits of the field. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Those in the gospel broad lifting up the standard of Yahweh Shai, just straight to the point. That video is dealing with the coming famine and the growing food prices around the world. And if you've been paying attention to the trends here lately, even in the United States, America, the price of goods have been going up. If you pay close attention, like rice has gone up, eggs has gone up dramatically, because I was getting eggs for between 67 and 97 cents a carton. Now the average carton of eggs, did I say gas or eggs? I meant eggs. If I said gas, Salaki, I'm still half asleep. But I meant eggs. But a carton of eggs on average now is about $1.72, and these is for the lower grade. It's not even for the brown or the farm raised. This is for the lower grade store brand bought eggs, you know. So, you know, the way the world is going is gonna go into on the brink of collapse. And like we stated, with this dollar getting ready to go out, they're getting ready to bring in digital currency. They were predicting biblical like famines. All right, and this is all set up systematically to bring about a global famine and a food shortage. All right, because once again, our people, mainly it says in Nigeria, parts of Russia, and also in Brazil. Brazil is mainly Israelites over there. We know the Nigerian coast, the Gold Coast, or whatever you want to call it. We know that those are predominantly Israelites, with Hamites in there, of course, but mainly Jake, because a lot of the slaves that they gathered was from the northern and the western coast of Africa, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, etc. You know, so yeah, our people, they're getting ready to suffer. And you notice that this is affecting the so-called Negro, Hispanic, and Native American community more than anybody. All right, like I said, since this guy Biden has got in office, gas is damn $2.68 right now. You see what I'm saying? And I mean, this was just it was a complete price hike within the month he's got in office. I mean, gas went up damn near $1. Slack, because even when Trump was in office, he kept dollar at or below the $2 mark. You see, but when this guy Biden gets in, all of a sudden gas is $2.68. You know, and this is why they're trying to bully China by rolling out this new digital dollar wallet, whatever they want to call it, in order to combat the BRICS and the OPEC nations, right? Because China is talking about rolling out their first worldwide digital currency. So America has to counteract that by bringing in their digital currency, which will keep them as the centralized power of the world. But America is declining as a power. All right, so the prices of gas is going up, fruits, vegetables, all these things are getting ready to skyrocket, man. Like we've always spoke on what they will call hyperinflation. All right, so matter of fact, let me look that up. Hyperinflation, because that's what you're experiencing. You're experiencing inflation, but then hyperinflation was things can go up 100%. You know, like we always use the example, like you can buy a T-bone steak probably for a slab of a steak probably for $10-15, and within the day's time that T-bone steak can go up to $100 just within a moment's time. That's called hyperinflation. So it says hyperinflation is a term used to describe rapid, excessive, and out of control general price increases in the economy. Price hikes. It says while inflation is a measure of a pace of rising prices for goods and services, hyperinflation, rapidly raising inflation, typically measuring more than 50% a month. Okay, that shit is gonna end up pouring out to 50% a day, because cheese, eggs, you know, grains, nuts, milks, sugars, all the things that the farmers use to bring in the food, you got to understand it's a big demand that's being put on these farmers too, and they're not working with the capacity that they once had, because they're being stripped of their funding too. So if they got to make a living, of course the price of things are going to go up. But even then, the farmers, they don't even dictate the price hikes. You see, that proves that this man is a devil. And like the Jake woman, she could have been Brazil. Let me get again. Let me see what tribe that is. I'm still half asleep, man. But not Zebulon. But what is it? Not maybe Asher, if I'm not mistaken. But sometimes I get the Northern Kingdom mixed up. There's so many of them. But Salakia, still halfway asleep. All right. Yep. So you got Puerto Rican. You got the Colombian to Asher. Okay, so yeah, you got the tribe of Asher. And the Asherite woman, man, she basically was basically stating that we need the government to come in and help. Steady begging for the government. I mean, you're doing exactly, you know, what you're doing exactly what they want you to do. They want you to come begging, so therefore you could depend on them, and you'll give over your freedoms to the government, so they can come in and play the hero and put you in a far worse predicament. All right. So anyway, let's go back to the scriptures here. It says that they be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. And this is going to come back to cannibalism, because when things get so unaffordable, people are going to result into cannibalism, okay? Eating their children, eating their loved ones. It says, for this pine away stricken through for the one of the fruits of the field. And the hands of the pitiful women, you notice it say women because, hey, men, we're naturally survivors, man. We find a way. Women, they did a show study, and it was on a Kevin Samuels show. Basically, they put these women on an island with these men, and I mean, they separated them, and to the point the women were bugging out within a day tops time, 2 days. They didn't know how to do shit. They didn't know how to come up with resources. You know, they were lost. They were fighting each other. Versus the men, you know, we found the way to survive, which proves that the Most High sets up a hierarchy. It's things that means to be governed in its proper perspective. And it says here, the hands of the pitiful women have sodden down their own children, and they were the meat in the destruction of the daughter of my people. Woo. So we coming back into that time, brothers, man. And this is why we say that Esau has done a number on you women. He's totally puffed you up with pride to the point that you really believe that you don't need a man. You really believe that your opinions and your idealized facts, which is nothing more but delusion, is something more than, and it's really not. You see what I'm saying? So all hell getting ready to break loose in these streets of America, man, any day now. And I just feel it through the spirit. Because this guy, Jim Crow Joe, talking about he's going to have enough maxes for everybody by the end of May. So what do you think that means? Whoop speed, man. He said they're going to utilize the federal government, meaning that the federal government is going to come in and enact the powers to be, whether it be FEMA or Gurkha, or however they're going to do it. But nonetheless, there's going to be some shit, man. And I was also looking at a little clip. I was reading. It stated last year the commodity for toilet paper was the commodity for panic buying. Now they said guns and ammo. They said that that's the panic buying. Everybody's buying up guns and ammo. You know why? Because shit getting ready to crack. The spirit is on these people to do that because we're getting ready to see another civil war. These people getting ready to lose their goddamn minds. Man, when you can't eat and feed your family, you'll do whatever it takes. Rob, steal, kill. And if you have no other resources or no other type of way out of that, guess what you're going to result to? Cannibalism. And that's coming back in a big way in America, man. All right. So this is the book of Matthew 24. And I'm going to start at verses 7. It says, for nation shall rise against nations and kingdom against kingdom. And there should be famines and pestilence. All right. We're in the middle of pestilence. Famines, food prices are going up. And earthquakes in diverse places. These are the beginning of sorrows. You see, the Lord already told what was going to happen. Scripture says it's better to die from the sword than from hunger, man. Look at the famine, the four-sword judgment, man. Let's go to the book of, you got a lot of good ones. All right. So this is the book of Psalms 105:16. It says, moreover, he called for a famine upon the land, and he break the whole staff of bread. All right, that's the Most High's behind it. Putting a blow to this man's system. Why you think he been putting it on their spirit to use HARP and these different weapon programs, these space programs, like it's a movie called Geostorm, when basically they dealing with HARP. They're offsetting the weather. The hell you think the Midwest got hit with all that inclement weather? And the crazy part about it is the Lord is so cold. He set up the breadbasket of the world in the most volatile state, in the middle of the country where you get the craziest freaking weather, man. All right, you got Iowa, you got Indiana, you got Illinois, you got Missouri, you got Kansas. Okay, they consider that little hub the breadbasket. Why? Because there's a lot of farming that's going on there. Pay attention when you're on the interstate traveling and look at those fields and those big old corn gins and etc. Like that movie Children of the Corn. They did that movie in the Midwest, you know? Why? Because this is the breadbasket of the world. This is where the world's food source come from. And when you're getting hit with weather that's destroying your crops day in and day out, and it's too hot in the summer and too cold, too much snow and rain, hey man, you're gonna have a natural born famine, price hikes, etc. You know? So it's getting ready to go down out here, man. So hey brothers, stay in the spirit, and we gotta keep pushing, bro, because it's getting ready to get bad. Yo, man, there's a lot of good scriptures in Ezekiel. Yep, this is the book of Ezekiel 7, and I'm going to start at verses 14. It says, "They have blown the trumpet, even to make all ready, but none goeth to the battle. My wrath is upon all the multitude thereof." We're blowing the trumpet, like the scriptures say, he that neither went into the gaps, nor basically prepared the people to stand in the day of the battle. The gaps and the hedges are the highways and the byways. These other camps ain't teaching their men that the end is coming. You know, they're talking about good tidings. They're talking about fashion shows, stuff that's to no avail. And the scriptures clearly tell you peace and safety and sudden destruction. Notice these other camps don't really prophesy because they're not the prophets. So you can't call yourself a prophet if you're not talking about the current events. And it says, "And the sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine within, and he that is in the field should die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence should devour them." Okay, so there you go. Famine and pestilence, hunger. It's getting ready to get bad out here. And you Jakes, man, you have no idea as to what the hell the Most High is getting ready to bring to the world, because you ain't paying attention, man. So once again, Lamentation 4:9. "They that be slain with the sword are better than they be slain with hunger." Why? Because if you're starving, your body starts to eat itself. You see what I'm saying? You start to eat yourself. That's a painful thing, because your body is going to kick in. Like if you're going to fast, right? Say if you're going a 2-day fast, then the first day you may be feeling jacked up. But what happens is that your body's is going to absorb the sugars and the waters from your cells, and it's going to feed your body. But once your cells are depleted of the nutrients that it's giving your body, then your body starts to eat itself, because it needs to draw that energy from somewhere. So if you like a heavyset person, shit, in Jacob's trouble, you'll be straight. You just got to overcome the first week of not eating, because your diets are so bad to the point your body is going to break itself down. But eventually, man, you get back into reputable shape, you'll be cool. You know, like I did a 2-day fast, man, and I noticed towards the end of the fast, it was like, damn, I was good. I didn't even need no more food or water. You know, I did a 24, it ain't nobody's business, but it's just an example. Did a 24-hour water and almost a 24-hour dry fast. You know, I kind of incorporated both into it. And after the last couple of hours, I'm like, damn, I could really go for another day, because the sugars and stuff that I absorbed, you know, in the cells, it started to kick in. You know, yeah, you go through your irritable stage, you feel weak and lightheaded, but, you know, because it's your body breaking down and it's absorbing, your natural defense systems will kick in. But after a while, when you have no more, you start to lose weight. You start to become malnourished. You know, nutrition is depleted. And that's when you're going to lose it. You know? Anyway, let's go to the book of 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, because it's going to lead to riots, chaos, breaking and enterings, murders. It's going to get bad out here. People are going to start marching on these governments. They're going to be looking for these politicians. It's going to be bad. It's the book of 2nd Ezra 15 and 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein." Matter of fact, now let's start at verses 12. No, 11. It says 10. It says, "Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter, and I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt." Lord said, I wouldn't suffer you to dwell here, because it's going to get that freaking bad. It says, "Egypt should mourn, and the foundation of it should be smit with the plague and the punishment that Yahweh should bring upon them." So this is the doings of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, who you ignorantly call Jehovah and Jesus. Okay, which that's not their names. It says, "They that till the ground shall mourn," going into your farmers, "for the seed shall fail through the blasting in hell and the fearful consolation," that polar vortex we just had. Woe to them and woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Woe means destruction. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people should stand up and fight against another with swords in their hands. That's right. Weapons, bottles. They said that ammo has took a increase hike, man. Like, matter of fact, I probably still got it. Let me double check, because sometimes, you know, this Google shit overwrites it, but Lord's will. Yep, it says limited manufacturing, panic buying causes low stock of ammo in Las Vegas. Last year was toilet paper. Now people are buying guns. Why? Because people get nervous, man. It's going to be between a have and a have-nots. You see? And it's leading to this scripture here. For that to be sedition among men, invading one another, and they should not regard their kings nor princes, and the power of their actions shall stand in their power. And a man should not be able to go into this. A man should desire to go into a city, should not be able. But for because of their pride, the city should be troubled, and the house is destroyed. And men should be afraid, and the man should have no pity upon his neighbor, but should destroy their houses with the sword, and to spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and great tribulation, which shows you there's going to be a food shortage out here. You see, he said a lack of bread and great tribulation. Second Ezra 16:22. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger, the sword shall destroy. See? Damn. It's getting ready to get bad, brothers. You just got to keep our wits about us and stay in the spirit. May the Lord have mercy on us all. The men of the Lord, rather. All right. So this is the book of Revelation 6. And I'm going to start at verses 5. It says, and he had opened the third seal, and I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see that thou not hurt the oil and the wine. All right, the oil and the wine really goes into the elect, because the scriptures say that my servant shall eat. Ye should be hungry, but my servant shall eat. You see what I'm saying? So it's getting ready to go down out here, but you can see that the price of inflation is getting ready to skyrocket, like it tells you in the land of Egypt. Matter of fact, I'll get that too, because I believe we was in the land of Goshen, if I'm not mistaken. We had an abundance. But hey, when the Most High brought the plagues on Egypt, on that province of Egypt, hey, those Hamites were catching hell. Why? Because hey, when the Most High sent up Moses and Aaron to go before Pharaoh, he said, let the children of Israel go, and Pharaoh refused. So the Most High brought plagues on this place. But even before then, during the time of Joseph, you had the Most High that brought the famine. It says the famine was very sore in the land of Egypt. All right, and the famine that's coming to this Egypt is going to make that Egypt look like a full-lit grocery store on Thanksgiving, man. You see? So this is the book of Genesis 47, and I'm going to start at verses 13. It says, and there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very sore, so that the land of Egypt and all the land of Canaan fainted by the reason of famine, meaning the economy completely broken down because there was no food. All right, and the food that was stored up was being sold for a higher price. It says, and Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the corn which they bought. And Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house. And when the money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came into Joseph and said, give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth. See? And that's the time we coming into. But anyway, Akim, with that, all praises and glory, honor that's due to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai. And with that, Shalom and the Baba Lord.